Hello friends, welcome back to my new video, that is the practical. This is practical number 2 actually for you, that is the about CVS and you have to write down all these things in your practical book regarding the myocardial infarction, and we are going to cover the fibrinous pericarditis and the rheumatic heart diseases also in this. So before going to the practical we should know some points about how to describe the actually heart when you are describing it in the practical hall. So either you should start from the outside to inside or inside to the outside. We all know that the heart has been divided into right atrium, left atrium, right ventricle and left ventricle. So this is the from the inner side. So you are going from outside to inside. You should start about telling about the pericardium, then about the myocardium, that is the muscles of the heart, and then about the endocardium. So while talking to the endocardium, you should talk about the walls of the heart and regarding the aortic wall and the pulmonary wall. So these things should be covered. Then coming to the size, basically size is very important when you are talking about the heart, because you should by the size and the weight you can say that whether there is a cardiomegaly or not. Important thing in size is also that you should talk about the size of thickness of the wall. So basically thickness of the wall in the right ventricle and left ventricle is very important when you are describing it in the examination, because when thickness of the wall is increased, then there are the various differential diagnoses, and when the thickness is less, then there are the various differential diagnoses. So please remember this when you are talking about the heart. The normal shape of the heart is actually a globular. So normally heart is a globular shape, but the shape is changed, it will become box like, or it will become shoe like, various shapes of the heart which has been described on the radiology. So that thing you should remember when you are describing the heart. So coming to the heart dissection, for the UG level basic heart dissection, two types of heart dissection at least you should know. One dissection type is called as the inflow outflow method. Inflow outflow method means that you should start with the superior vena cava. Basically you should go with the blood flow. Okay, so you should go with the blood flow when you are dissecting the heart. So you should start from the superior vena cava, then you should go for the right atrium, then the right ventricle, then from pulmonary artery you should go out, then coming to the again through the left atrium and the left ventricle, and then you should go out through the aorta. This is the one way. Another way is that after opening all these things, you should know the one thing that heart is actually supplied by these three arteries. Basically three arteries. First one is the right coronary, second one is the left coronary, and then the last one is the left marginal. Left coronary will become the anterior supply, that is the left anterior LAD, that is left anterior descending, and the right marginal arteries. So you should find out whether the clot is there in the any part of these branches or any main artery, and that is the one important feature when you are dissecting the heart in the autopsy cases. So for the UG level at least this basic is very important. Another type of the dissection I will tell you in the So coming to the today's your practical, that is the myocardial infarction. You have a specimen of 50-year-old man who has been died due to the chest complaint like the palpitation, sweating, and autopsy has been done, and this is the gross specimen. So before going to the gross specimen, you should understand that actually how this slices has been come. So this is the another method of heart dissection in the examination, and this is called as the like a bread butter or bread slice method. So in that case you have to take a slice at a 1 centimeter from the base or apex of the heart and towards the through the septum up to the atrioventricular wall. So up to this level you have to take a small slices, and this small slices has been taken over here, which is given for you in the practical hall. So in that case here you can see that there are the two cavities. One is called as the left ventricle, another one is called as the right ventricle cavity. This is your septum, and here the arrow shows that there is a pale area which is a infarction. So this is your specimen. Then again you can see that at the different level cavity sizes has been given. So basically here again you can see the thickness of the left ventricle wall is increased. So this is the gross specimen which is mounted in the formalin, and preserved specimen around 7 into 6 into 1 centimeter, showing the two cavities left and right. Left cavity or left ventricular wall thickness is more than the right ventricular wall, and it is showing the basically pale area which is infarcted. So this is the myocardial infarction specimen for you in the examination. You have the same specimen microscopy. Two slides are there under the microscope. One is for the old infarct and another one is for the recent EMI, or that is the recent infarct. So how to diagnose this recent and old infarct? It's very simple, that rule of 1-1-1. That's how I remember. 1-1-1 means first neutrophil will come in up to the 1 day, then for the first week there will be the lymphocyte, and then there will be the macrophages. After that there will be a fibrosis. So this is the rule in our body. Anywhere, whenever we have any infection, whenever we have any trauma, whenever we have any infarction, okay, so this rule has been followed in the any organ. So same here in the infarction, in first hour there will be neutrophils and the lymphocytes for the first 12 hours to the first week. So here these are the muscles, and this is the inflammation. This slide is under the scanner, that is on microscope you have a 4x lens. So this called as the scanner, and here you can see that there are the muscles which are showing the coagulative necrosis. Coagulative necrosis means whenever there is a cell and nucleus has gone and the cell membrane is preserved, but inside that there is nothing. It is called as the coagulative necrosis. It is started within the 30 minutes of EMI, and here you can see that these muscles don't show the nucleus, and so the coagulative necrosis has been started, and there is a dense inflammation inside this muscle. So all these small dots are the inflammatory cells which are inside the muscles, and the muscles showing the coagulative necrosis. So that's why it is a slice of or slide of recent EMI. Whereas in case of the old infarct, as I told you, the rule of 1-1-1, here fibrosis is main feature, and there are the congested dilated blood vessels and very rare foci of inflammation. So this is the old infarct. Okay, as neutrophil has been gone, now replaced by lymphocyte, macrophages, and then there is a fibrosis. So this is the slide of old infarct. So these are the two microscopic slides you have today in the practical. Now coming to the next slide, that is the rheumatic heart disease. I will talk about the rheumatic heart disease very shortly about the pathogenesis, and you all know the pathogenesis. I just want to mention one thing, that bacterial membrane have one protein, and that protein is similar to the another protein in your human body, and that protein is basically present in the walls of the heart, in the knee, and then in our hand, in the fingers. So somewhere these proteins are there, and our body will develop antibody against this M protein which is in the bacteria, but this, due to the similar structure, the same bacteria will attack the cells which are having similar antigen, and these cells are present in our walls, in our knee, and in our hands. So somewhere this antigen quantity is more, there this antibody will attack even though it is our own human body. So this is called as the delayed type hypersensitive reaction in the rheumatic heart diseases, and that is the main reason why rheumatic heart diseases occur after the infection or throat infection by streptococci. So coming to the this today's specimen after this pathogenesis, basically in the pathogenesis you should remember one important thing, that whenever there is an atrioventricular wall, this is your left ventricle, this is your right ventricle. I am not drawing the this is your left atrium, and this is your left ventricle, and I am not drawing the right side of the heart. So this is atrioventricular wall, and once you have an infection of the streptococci, then antibody will come and attack here also with the bacteria. Now on the first inflammation, after that there will be fibrosis, but in the first attack there will be nothing will happen, slight fibrosis will be there. On the second type of attack, again this fibrosis will increase, and now there will be stenosis of these walls. Okay, so that's why this, due to the stenosis, blood will come very less, blood will go very less, and this heart will pump very hard to get out the blood from your aorta also, because in aorta wall also you will get the problem. So this is basically the all things happen due to your bacterial infection and antibody development. So here you can see that this is the specimen. This is a specimen of heart which is formalin preserved and showing the left ventricle. Here you can see that again the left ventricle thickness has been increased, and the funda to identify the left ventricle is very simple, whether it is ventricle or atrium, that the lower half is having the trabeculae, okay, which is not smooth, and the upper half is a smooth, okay, whereas in case of the atrium it is always a smooth inflow part and smooth outflow part. Now second thing is, here you can see the wall translucency has been gone, okay, wall translucency has been gone, and this due to the thickness, the tendon thickness, this is called as the chordae tendineae, which are fused now due to that the muscles are not working properly. That muscle is called as the papillary muscle. So this is the basic mechanism, and this is your specimen of rheumatic heart diseases, which is showing the chorda tendineae thickening, and the external surface is unremarkable. So this is the specimen around 13 into 11 into 7 centimeter. Heart measures around 540 gram, and the left ventricle shows dilation with the thickness around 1.7 centimeter, and the external surface is unremarkable. Coming to the next one, that is the fibrinous pericarditis. So this is also called as the bread and butter appearance, which also a part of the heart problem in case of your rheumatic heart diseases, or the one of the presentation in the rheumatic heart diseases. Here you can see that this is paper like thing can be seen, and this is called as actually pericardium. Pericardium is basically in normal state it is a glistening. This glistening has been gone over here, and it is a peri means around the around, and carditis means around the heart. So pericarditis can be of three types. The causes of the pericarditis are very important. It can occur in the rheumatic heart diseases, it can occur in the Dressler syndrome, uremia, chest radiation history, and the SLE and the trauma. So these are the main important causes which are very important, because whenever this specimen is there, most probably the examiner will ask you what are the causes of the pericarditis. So this is the one of the kind of inflammation which occurs in the around the heart, that is a pericardium. So this is formalin wet mount preserved specimen of the heart measuring around 16 into 11 into 5.5 centimeter, and the visceral pericardium covering the heart lost its normal glistening and shows the patches of the roughness due to the grey pink fibrinous deposit, which is also called as the bread and butter appearance of the pericardium. So this is the pericarditis. So to conclude this, there are the specimens. First specimen shows the myocardial infarction. Different slices are given. Here I gave you one photograph which is showing that there is a infarction. The color is pale and surrounding color is red. Okay. Now coming to the next one is the specimen, that is the open heart specimen from the left side, which is showing the lower part is the trabeculated, upper part is a smooth. The wall has lost its translucency and the thickness of the left ventricle. So it is a specimen of the rheumatic heart diseases. External part is or external pericardium is showing no changes, whereas in this case you can see that the pericardium is showing pericarditis. There is a thickened and rough patches. The pericardium is thickened due to the inflammation. Most probable cause is the rheumatic heart diseases. Other causes are the SLE, uremia, or the patient is taking some radiation therapy due to some another tumor or for the treatment of some another thing. So this is the practical from today's practical, that is the heart or CVS part 2. Thank you.